Hi all, Planetside Agent. Gonna do another one of my mini stoves today. This is the German-made Jewul 84 white gas stove, and again picked it up on eBay. I just thought it was kind of cool, a little similar in design to the Svea 123, which is a classic stove. This one a little bit different, and it's got enameled, or what do they call that? Uh, kind of an enameled painting on here, although it is starting to peel off. In fact, while I was messing around with it, a couple more flakes came off. But it's kind of cool. It's got the little cap and a cloth strap, and I noticed it even's got little grooves cut in here so that, can you see that? I gotta make sure that I keep this in frame. They got little grooves cut in so the strap won't slide off, which that's kind of clever. But anyway, we'll open her up here. Get this going here so I'm not boring you to death with me trying to get a strap off. Anyway, I think when I was doing it off camera, it came off a lot easier. Of course, that's, the way things go. Anyway, yeah, like I said, it's got a little notch cut here to keep the strap from falling off. And you got the little cover here. And when you pull it off, the pot stand comes off. Now, I've seen some people I'll pull the pot stand out. Some people will take the pot stand apart and just store it inside, which is fine, but I noticed that this thing kind of wobbles and jingles around a little bit. But I don't know. I think to me it's 6 one, half a dozen another, however you do it. So not that it really matters, because like I say, like so many of my stoves, these aren't going to be used. They're going to be mantle pieces. So anyway, there's the pot stand. It's 2 pieces of metal, which is fine. Okay, then in here, the windscreen comes off like a Svea, and here's the fuel handle, or the control knob. It's Jewel. Doesn't have the name or made in Germany or anything on it anyway, but that's what I found out. It's a steel stove. No, the only brass part is the vaporizer and the bell and the spreader, and then the fuel cap. One thing about these stoves, when originally they came with a little toolbox that had different tools for taking the stove apart, plus extra little parts and pieces and bits. But this one obviously didn't come with it. That's tools and those sorts of things. Those seem to be the first things to get lost in just about anything. I swear. I used to tease my kids whenever they used a tool or anything. When they were all done with it, they'd just huck them. Or like, somebody uses a tool. Now I'm editorializing here, but it's one of my pet peeves. When people use tools, or, I'm all done, walk away. I never put them away. So I'm kind of a picky about, putting tools away when you're done. So, man, I had a couple of shop teachers. They were pretty zealous about that too, which I didn't have problems with, but some people have problems with that. He was also really strict about calling tools by their correct name, no shortcuts. So anyway, I got this all fueled up. I fired it up earlier just to check it out. But when I did, I did want to clean it up a little bit, so I did pull it off, and I looked inside, and the wick looked in very good shape. And then I took the bell off, and I took the jet out. Real tiny jet, boy. You better be careful. If you're doing a field repair, you better make sure you got a good handle on it, because it would, if it disappeared, it'd get lost quite easily. If you can see that, but it's real tiny. It's just that little piece right there, so you better hang on to it. Speaking of losing things, So I pulled that out, and there's a little bit of carbon on it, and I cleaned the carbon that I could see down in the hole there, and as best I could. Um, I did pull off the retaining nut for the valve, and I tried to get the valve out, and I gave it all the way extended, and it just jammed right there. And you know, it was pretty snug. I was trying to, you know, undo it, but I didn't want to break anything, so I just finally decided, well, you know, if there's a trick to getting that off, I don't know what it is, and maybe it is a trick, and if you do it wrong, you'll break it, but I don't have any instructions. I've seen some people have posted user manuals, but it's all in German, and I don't speak German, so that wouldn't do me any good. So I thought, well, I'm just going to leave well enough alone. So there it is. And besides, when I did fire it up, it turns on and off without any problems. So anyway, let's see, what else can I say about this this stove? Oh yeah, it also, part of the tools was the pricker tool to clean out the jet. So but yeah, like I said, I got none of that. So, but you know, it wasn't. I got a pretty good deal on it from eBay. Don't ask me how much. I can't remember. You know, I should have written down the prices I paid for all my stoves, because it would have been nice to compare them. But my bookkeeping skills are wanting at times. So, anyway, let's fire this up for you guys. A little alcohol in here. That's probably more than enough. Probably too much. Get carried away. Yeah, the little indentation for the fuel is probably at least 2 times the size of a Svea, which sometimes when Sveas are 1, 2, 3s are cold, you know, you almost have to prime them twice because there's not much room in the dish. But this one's pretty big. I think this one would do the job. There we go. Now we'll go through the boring part of watching the alcohol burn off. But the first time I fired it up, yeah, no leakage around the nut, the retaining nut, or the gasket looked pretty good shape on the filler cap. They say having the bigger indentation is going to let you put more priming fuel in there, so that'll definitely help you out, especially under colder conditions to try to get that the vaporizer heated up. So let's see, what else can I say about this while we're sitting here. This one's, you know, obviously been used. Some of the paint's been burned out here. You can see a little tinging along here, and of course around the inside there's quite a bit of discoloration from being used, so it was obviously used. I can say, like so many of these stoves I got, I'd never heard of before, but you know, they're from Europe, and they must have had a much bigger market than the States, because you didn't see that variety of stuff. Like, well, for me, well, back in the day before the internet, you know, you had to rely on catalogs, and for me it was REI, and you know, whatever their buyers happen to find and like, that's what you got. But, you know, or if you're I guess you're in an area that had a lot of sporting, outdoor stuff going on, you could probably find more, you know, backpacking, mountaineering. I think there's a lot more of that going on in Europe than it was in the States in the early days. Not like now. But so trying to come across, you know, some of these other types of stoves and manufacturers, like I say, it was probably pretty difficult in the right area. Where I grew up in Roswell, New Mexico, and it was like nothing. And then I moved to Oregon. You know, I think I came across REI in college. So that was back in the 1969. So I'll date myself. Yes, I'm old. But, yeah. But it works. Works just fine. Gets a little more powerful as it warms up more. The last time I used it, it fired up really nice. So It's I'd say it's a neat little stove. It's not as cool as a Svea 123. You know, it's hard to beat all that brass, or some of the other two I've showed you recently. They're still sitting out. The ones I previewed the other day, I've got them out here in the garage with the valve or the filler caps off, because I drained out all the white gas, and I want to let the white gas evaporate out before I put them back on the shelf. So, but I'll turn the light off real quick. There you go, that's looking pretty good. There you go. But I'll just start to wrap this up. Looks like this Jewul company did make a lot of different stoves. I saw going online, I saw some stuff on many different models. You don't see as many on the 84. There's another model 34, which is very similar, but it looks like it has a built-in pot stand. But they made a lot of different models. This must have been a big company in Germany, but you know, you only hear mostly about the Primus and Optimus here in the States. So anyway, I think that's it for this guy. I'll turn him off. Yeah, there's no cam lean. He turns off smartly, and you can. Oops. Yeah, you can probably turn it down to a little bit of a simmer. The valve has pretty good control. I'd say better than my the newer Svea 123s, the R models. But yeah, it shuts right down, and yeah, it's a good little stove. I imagine if you want to use it for backpacking, there'd be no reason not to. It's still serviceable. So anyway, that's the Jewul 84. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye bye. Back again. Got ahead of myself again. I just wanted to show you the how the pot stand works. It just fits on top here like this, and then top of the stove, and you don't have to be real accurate on trying to find the hole for the key, because any one of these slots on the side, you can there you go, you can put the key in, the control valve or control handle. There you go. Okay, so there, that's it. See you next time.